Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Andre with Eagle Express, welcome you. Let's talk about rates today. Today is August, 24th? End of August anyway, one of these days. End of August. And the current rates, everybody wants to know, did things get better? Did the rates go up? What's going on? And the chatter, there's some chatter going on about rates, about, chatter, always chatter about rates. Somebody's always thinking that somebody's always ripping somebody off. Somebody always thinks that somebody's skinning the cat a little too much. But I'll give you an example. So yesterday we had a situation where we had a driver that we bid a load for. All-in rate was $16.25. Driver was going to get 85 cents a mile, and the broker, not going to say who it is, but said we need to be at 1400 on this one. That's what we run this lane for, and can you do it for 14? And our rate was $16.25, so $225 difference right off the bat. And the load was going to Texas. I said 85 cents a mile. We look at me and the dispatcher who's involved in this, look at each other, and I go, no, you tell them that 16.25 is a great rate for this run, and we simply we're not used to running for lower than that, for that kind of a rate that he wants us to run for. So he told him that, and things went quiet. I mean, maybe 10 minutes later, I don't know, I didn't keep track of time, but about 10 minutes later, what happened was broker emails us back and says, okay, send me driver info, 16.25 works. So what did this guy try to do? What did he try to do with that $225? Was he trying to be, this is a mystery that nobody will ever understand, or no? Maybe he is telling the truth, and maybe he finds, bottom of the barrel type of people who will run that load for $1,400, and we were at $16.25. But you guys got to understand that maybe they do find them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball in front of me. I don't know all the things. I have no answers for everything. I just know this, that sometimes they do overpay. Sometimes they do have called a tariff, or whatever you want to call it, a set rate for something, either by the mileage or by the lane or whatever they have. Sometimes there's lanes, like, from certain places, maybe El Paso to like Michigan to El Paso, stuff like that. So sometimes they do have that, and sometimes they'll find those people. They'll eventually find somebody. If you're sitting for 2-3 days somewhere, they'll find you, and you're going to go down in a rate, and somebody, one of the people will eventually give in and go for whatever the load is going for, because you can't sit forever without a load. If you're trying 85 cents a mile and nothing happens, and then it's a 500-mile run, and you got to do 80 cents a mile. I'm not saying that 80 cents a mile is a super rate. I've mentioned that in some of my videos, but you guys got to understand this. When I say it's a good rate per mile, that means to be moving daily. It's better to be moving for at least 80, maybe even 70 cents sometimes. It's better to be moving than not moving. You guys got to understand this. If you're looking at a 500-mile run, that 5 cents is only $25. $25 less. If you're looking at a 1,000-mile run, that extra 5 cents is only $50 difference. Make sense? If you're looking at a 10-cent difference for 500 miles, it's a $50 difference, and for 1,000, it's $100 difference. 1,000 miles, $100 less you make. Well, tell me if this isn't just me speaking. If I'm sitting somewhere for 2 days, 3 days, a fourth day maybe, that's insanity. That's insane. And to sit there and hold on to that rate. And this is what I'm talking about. It's good. There's good rates. There's good rates out there to keep moving for, and there's just we hear a lot of cheap ones too, don't worry. You know, sometimes brokers want us to move for 50 cents, 60 cents, all that. No. I mean, if a driver's stuck and we have no choice, or if we're going into an area automatically already and we overcharge them to go in there more, we can do 70 cents a mile. Sometimes it's unpredictable. Every area, every day is unpredictable. So today you could be sitting in a good area. Tomorrow you could be in Fargo, North Dakota. And today there's tons of loads. When a driver's going in there, we expect that, hey, it's been good. Tomorrow's going to be good. And tomorrow comes and a driver's sitting there and we can't get him out of there. There's just no loads, or either too much competition, or whatever the case is, or there's less loads and your competition is bidding cheap just to get out of there. There's all kinds of things. You guys got to understand that every day is a different rate out of a different area. There's no such thing as a set rate in expediting because of competition. There could be hundreds of vehicles in Kansas City today, and tomorrow there could be 20. You guys got to understand this. So that means the broker will see that there's no bids, so they got to pay. Their customer is going to pay. Not always does the broker have a certain amount of a rate per mile that he needs to get to be able to get the load. A lot of times they say, I need to be at this to be able to have a chance, but every single day is different. Same thing with the customer. If a customer gets, broker saying, hey man, yesterday we moved this load for this much, guess what? Today there's nobody there, so my best rate is this. And the customer has to agree if he wants to move that rate. If not, then they got to wait till maybe the next day until there's more competition there to win. Sometimes, I'm saying sometimes maybe, just for this instance that happened yesterday, this $225, guess what? He says, okay, book it. Send me driver information after about 10 minutes. What does that mean? Does that mean he tried to rip us off? Tried to make an extra $225 off of that load? Off of really nothing? Or do they really run that lane for $1,400 and find people, and they just had to pay us just because there was really nobody else there? We were the closest truck, and so on and so forth. Yeah, because we were. Sometimes they got to pay because everybody's too far away, and sometimes the closest unit always gets the upper hand no matter what. You guys got to understand that. So these rates, or you winning a load, or your dispatch winning a load, doesn't always depend on the rate. There's a lot of factors in this. They sometimes want the biggest vehicle because nobody really knows exactly what the dimensions of the freight is. I don't know how that happens still, that somebody doesn't know. Happened today that we got sent for one piece, for one pallet, ended up being 4 pallets that did not fit and couldn't be broken down. So we had to cancel for that one. If you're watching, you know who you are, and I truly am sorry that happened, but it's not up to us. Broker didn't know either, so somebody tried to pull a fast one. So same thing with these rates. You got to be the closest unit to the freight, which then you have the upper hand. You got to have the right size van, because a lot of times if it's too close, if it's 3 pallets and you're exactly at 144, a lot of times these brokers, they don't want to risk it. They'll say, nope, not happening. We don't want to risk it because maybe they packaged it wrong, maybe there's stuff sticking out, then the doors won't close, then what? I wish that every driver would get paid the most amount of money, because we as drivers do deserve it. We really do. We really do. But is it really worth it if you cannot get it? If say we try 90 cents, we can't get 90, we go down to 85, can't get 85, we try 80 cents a mile. I mean, is it really worth for 5 or 10 cents to sit there for 2 or 3 days? You guys got to add up all your bills. If you're losing a day, you got to understand how much does one day of sitting, not moving, cost you on the road? Does it add up your insurance, add up your food, add all that up? And then an oil change within a month that you're going to have anyways. So do some math and add it up and see how much it costs you to not drive one day while you're waiting for a load and not get anything that day? What does it cost you? $75, $100, what does it cost you? Well, isn't it better to actually move than to wait a day, 2 days, 3 days and lose maybe $300? I don't know what people's expenses are. Everybody's different. But in the end, it's not worth waiting and not moving. I'm not trying to promote cheap rates. Our drivers know that. Eagle drivers know all that. And we don't skin the cat like some people think that, you know. My father told me that he spoke to some drivers who work for different companies who thought that their dispatch takes half the money. So if you're getting paid, you know, $1 a mile, they think that their dispatch kept the other $1 a mile, dollar for all the miles, as their dispatch fee or whatever take. Listen, if that was the case, and dispatch keeps half the money, I wouldn't need any driver to work for us. I wouldn't. I would rather do it all by myself because I know that everything's going to get done right when I do it myself. I'll go and run 1,500 miles today in 24 hours, sleep for 4 or 5 hours, do another 1,000 miles, and do that for 2 weeks straight, make bank, and then sit home for 3 months and don't even go anywhere and don't do anything else. If that was the case, but it's obviously not the case, so get that out of your head if you're thinking that. Dispatch adds just whatever. Sometimes we add almost nothing to that load just to get the driver moving. Sometimes drivers got to get home, so we do whatever we can. We've done loads where we don't make anything and get it for the driver, and just to get them moving, just because the rates are cheap and we can't get them going, and everybody else is beating even the cheap rate. So sometimes we got to do what we got to do is just get them going. So you guys have to understand, your dispatch does not make any money off of you if you are not moving, just as you are losing money too. We lose money too. We have bills too. We got to pay for the load boards. We got to pay for electricity. We got to pay for the people that sit there and bid on your loads. If he's sitting there or she's sitting there, they're sitting there bidding loads for you nonstop, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Don't you guys understand that it's best to just, you know, bite the bullet, drop it 5-10 cents, whatever, just to get moving? It's not worth losing days not moving. It's not. And I know some people say that it's not worth it for me to drive for a certain amount. Either it's not worth it for me, I'm losing money at 70 cents a mile, or I'm losing money at 80 cents a mile. If that's the case, then maybe it's time to, for the time being, to park the van, put the insurance on hold, and, you know, and hang out and do something else maybe while things get better for you. Because the competition is out there, and the competition is bidding more, is getting those loads, because these loads are moving, that freight is moving. So if you're not as low as you need to be to win the load, it's all about winning it for the right price, for the price that broker needs it or their customer needs to be moved for. If you can't be at that rate, then I don't know what to tell you guys. I wish, like I said, I wish that they would pay more. I wish that we can get great rates. I wish that every driver would get exactly what they're worth, because all of you guys are worth a lot. I'm worth a lot too. You know, as I'm sitting on the road, I'm in the same boat. I wish I could get paid more. I wish that things wouldn't happen. I wish that, you know, people wouldn't lie to whatever, but happens all day long, every single day, that somebody's trying to get the upper hand on somebody else. And trust me, I hope that it's not your dispatch that you're working with. If you're thinking that they're ripping you off or something like that, then, you know, you guys gotta get things straight and either go work for somebody else that you feel 100% confident with and can trust 100%, or I don't know, or get out of the business, because, you know, we're doing, like us, I can speak for our company, we do all we can, go out of our way to get drivers moving, to keep them moving, because I know personally that how it is to sit in the van, how it is to be without a load. I know how it is to drive. I know exactly what it takes to drive, to clear these miles, that you're away from family, that you do have maintenance costs, that you do have operating costs, you know, all these things. People get lonely on the road. People, you know, everybody's different. I know exactly what people are going through. So don't think that dispatch doesn't know. Maybe other dispatch doesn't know. I know exactly how it is. So trust me, everybody who sits in my office, they know exactly how that feels. And we do everything we can to keep everybody moving. And that's why a lot of times we'll just drop that price 5 or 10 cents, whatever, just to get you moving, because we know in the end, if you add it all up, it's not worth sitting. It's just not. And for somebody who thinks it is and wants to lose 50, I don't know what your operating cost is, maybe $50 a day. I think food costs around 30 bucks, at least $30 a day to eat these days. Plus insurance, plus fuel if you're sitting there running your van, plus if you're going around to like stores, screwing around, wasting money that you don't already, that you're not even making right now. Everything adds up. Add up your cost every single day, and then come back and tell me in the comments what you think. Is it better to maybe drop it 5 cents, or maybe even 10, just to get moving to a better area, just to get moving so you can actually make money instead of lose money that day? You guys tell me that. To me, it doesn't make sense otherwise. But if you have a different perspective on this, please write it in the comments. Maybe there's something I'm not getting over here. I don't know. I wish you guys all the best. God bless you guys on the road. Be safe. Be blessed. I hope things pick up for all of us. I really do. Right now, how are things? Average. It depends on the area. It always depends where you're at that day. If there's competition, if there's not, if there's freight, if there's not, all that depends. But a decent average is about, I'm saying like 85 cents a mile. Fuel did pick up in cost on the West Coast out here. Montana, Idaho, Oregon picked up. So current averages are like about 85 cents a mile. I'm sure it picked up everywhere throughout the country as well. But sometimes just to get out of Washington, if we're sitting here and we're watching the boards and we're looking and there's not a lot of freight moving out of here, then hey, guess what? Some drivers might just have to go for 70 cents a mile to go instead of sitting a week or a half a week and not moving. It hurts to make that decision. I do want everybody to make the most amount of money as they possibly can, but I always look at it and don't want people to sit around. So if you don't like sitting around, you got to do what you got to do to be moving. Because in the end, this is all about business. In the end, you're doing this because there's money in this. If you wanted to do it for free, then, you know, shoot me an email and say, hey, Andre, I want to make you and your family some money, so I want to do this completely free. I'll just take out the gas cost and whatever the insurance cost, and you guys can, you know, maybe make some family vacation on me. If you guys are into that, please hit me up. I'll be glad to, you know, keep you rolling every single day and make some vacation money or whatever, or maybe even whatever leisure money that I can use. But everybody's into this. In the end, all things considered, to actually make something, make money, or at least not go in the hole. If you're sitting because of your 5 or 10 cent difference in rate, you're not making anything. Another thing is, you might be making a little bit more somewhere else, but is your other place charging you percentages for booking loads for you? Eagle Express does not do that. There's no percentage taken out. There's no factoring fees taken out, and we pay every single week. So consider all of that. And one more thing, 95 to 99% of the time, we actually pay all miles to the driver. Deadhead miles, if you're standing 100 miles away from freight, 150, 200, all your miles to pickup are paid, all your loaded miles are paid, and if you're going to a bad area, all your miles to a decent, better other area are paid. So add all that up, and then you guys tell me if that rate is still somewhat decent to keep you rolling around, or if that rate is bad and you can get way better pay somewhere else. Put everything together, do your math, and let me know in the comments, please. God bless you guys. We'll see each other next time. Take care. Be safe.